Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. As you can see on my screen, a gal named Lou was having trouble doing the thing with the flowers that I showed on my last video. Well, I'm going to show her an easy way to fix this. The problem is the image that she has, I'm not sure if it's a JPEG or not. So if it's not a JPEG, she'll have to save it as one first. So wondering what the heck I'm talking about? Follow me to my software and let's get busy. So what I did was she gave me the image and I just right-clicked on it and copied it, and I'll right-click on it now and paste it here. The first thing that you will notice is that there's something here on the left-hand side that I'll want to get rid of, and I'll just use my knife tool to get rid of that little sliver there. Come over here to the knife tool, hold down my shift key, and drag down. Well, apparently I wasn't holding my shift key because I moved that all over the place, and I wasn't. I was holding my Alt key. So you got to get the knife tool, hold down the shift key, and then you won't be able to go over crazy like I was doing. So there's that. I can get rid of that now. Delete. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is she wanted to put that on a white card. So let's see. Let's scroll out a little bit, and I guess she would want to resize this however she did. First of all, she probably brought in a card, right? And maybe made this card, let's say, 4.25 and by 5 inches high. Okay, so that's what her thing has to fit on. 5 by 4. Wait, that's not right. 4.25. Okay. So that's the shape that her card's going to be. And I'm going to make it so that it's wider more than long. Okay, so that's the card shape she has to work with. She's got to make this a lot smaller to fit on there. And I noticed on her sample it seemed like she liked it a little bit placed over to the left. Maybe she wanted some blank area over here in which to put her sentiment. Well, notice it's going behind right now. I want it to come to the front. So I just have to right click on this one and say bring it to the front. Now I can bring that to the front. The other thing was I noticed that she wanted to have, obviously, the card part white. So I'm going to click on the card and change it to white. Now, if she was really doing this, she'd probably want to make the card a little bit smaller so that it would fit with a pretty border on the outside of her card. So probably what she would do is make the width 4 and the height, the height, according to this, let's see, 5. I'll just leave it at 5. So that's how it would be like that. Here's the step I didn't say before because we've not run into this yet. So what you need to do now, before you do the steps that I told you to make the beautiful cards, you've got to grab all of this and just group it, I guess. And then I'm going to come up here to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, and I'm going to name it For Lou, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG. And then this is going to work perfectly. This is probably the only step you needed to do, Lou, that I didn't show you in the last video. So just say OK. Leave these just as they are and save. Now get rid of this one. This isn't the one we want anymore. This is still the one that's kind of messed up for what we're going to do next. So I'm going to delete it. Then I'm going to go to File, Merge, and Merge just allows me to put it right here in this very window that I have open. Merge. Here it is, For Lou. Notice it's a JPEG file. I'll say OK. And here it is now like this. Now I'm not sure, did the size stay right? Nope. The size has changed, but that's okay. You can put them back to whatever you like. However, you won't be able to ungroup it or do anything like that anymore. So now the next thing that you will do is just go through the process that I've taught before. So if we just come over here to the rectangle tool on the left and draw a rectangle on here. And if we're not sure what we're getting, we could come up here to the paint palette and change the transparency of it. And then the next thing I would do is come to the offset tool, the star with the offset on it. click on internal offset. And as I taught in my last more in-depth class on this, I just changed my offset to 0.5 or 4. And of course, I don't have to use this up arrow like I'm doing. I could simply change it. Okay, so there, 0.4. We'll leave it like that. All right, so now all I need to do is right-click on this image because I want to put it in the front or put these in the back. So it's easiest to right-click on the big thing and say, bring it to the front. Okay, so now you're wondering where in the world are my offsets? Well, they're still there. They're just hiding behind here. And we can tell by drawing a box over this, and there they are right there. So then the next thing you have to do is just come over to the Modify panel. That is the rectangle and the circle. Click on that and say Divide. Again, it doesn't look like anything happened, but if we click off and then click back on, we can see we have this piece. This will be one print and cut. And we have this piece, and we have this piece. So I would put them on here, and of course I'd have to resize them if my if the material that I had to use, the cardstock, was only 8.5 by 11. I would resize these, but I would do a print and cut of this one, and this one, and this one. And you'll be able to see in my previous video how I went ahead and put this together if you look at the very end. So I hope this helps. Remember, here's the thing. If you just do this, you right-click and you paste that image that you had originally, and you put a box behind it for the card, turn it white, send it to the back. There it is. And even if I group these, once I come over here and draw a box on it, and I can offset that box like we do. Okay, and I can bring this to the front. And now if I go like this and grab everything, come over to the Modify panel and say Divide, looks right, but look what it did to my card back here. Okay, I have 4 things as you were saying. So what was the difference? What's the trick? The trick is when you get this and you paste it in here, you put your white box or your card behind it if you want this to print on a piece of white cardstock. So I'm going to change it to white and I'm going to send it to the back. Okay, and I can put this wherever I want it to be on my card, say like that. Here's the important step of what you need to do. You need to grab both of these. Go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, and I'll name this one for Lou 2, number 2. And again, I'm going to save it as a JPEG file. Say OK. Save. Okay, this is not the one we want. This is the one we just messed with all the pieces. So I'm going to get rid of that one. If I want the one that I just fixed to come on this very same sheet or this very same mat, virtual mat, all I do is come up here to File and Merge and for Lou 2, open, and it comes in. Let's get rid of this one. I don't need it. Let's say delete. Comes in rather large. We'd probably want to resize it so it would fit on the card like that. And then you'll be able to do the process because watch, I'll draw my rectangle again. And you know you can use different shapes. If you want to, you could do an oval, any of these shapes over here, or even these shapes if you wanted to. But I'm going to use this rectangle again because that's my favorite. And I'm going to go to Offset it, Internal. I'll change it to 0.4, hit Enter. Okay, there's my offsets. I'm going to bring this piece to the front. So I clicked on the outermost piece, right click and say bring to front. And now I can grab all of this. You can see the little lines from the offsets back here. Grab it all, come over here to the Modify panel and say Divide. Again, it doesn't look like it did anything, so I just click off and click back on. There's my card. There's this piece. It's going to be in the inner side part, and there's this piece. And so that you can see the card a little bit more clearly, I'll come up here and I'll change my media size to auto cameo, but I'll also change my grid spacing to make it much smaller so you can see. Now you can see these are the 3 pieces that I get. So that's it. Just one extra step, saving it all as a JPEG. I hope this helps, Lou. Thanks for asking your question. Bye.